Hi Cancer, welcome back. So Cancer, this is going to be your spiritual tarot reading, and we're going to go ahead and jump straight into it. When I was in the meditation preparing for your reading, I got a few images. One of them was, it looked like somebody was like thumbing through a receipt or going through receipts, mail, paperwork. I got the words itemization and revision. So there might be something that needs to be revised during this time frame, okay? And then right after that, I got the words going back over. So there's something that you might be going back over during this time frame, or going back over something in your mind, possibly rerunning scenarios in your mind, things of that nature. It's like you're coming back around to something to revise it, or to maybe see it from a different perspective. Something about that coming in for you, Cancer. Besides those few images, I can tell you that I had to restart the reading a few different times, which is not like me, but I can tell you this entire round of spiritual readings, every single zodiac sign that I've done so far, and I've done 5 or 6, the energy's just been, yeah, like I'm having to revise things, restart things, a little bit frustrating as well. So you might be feeling that. I know I was feeling that as I was trying to get ready for the reading. So let's go ahead and get into it and see where this is headed. What does this mean for you? And what else can you expect? So you have the card of Scorpio out. Some of you could be dealing with Scorpio or have that in your birth chart. Or it's just this energy, right? This very intense, kind of mysterious energy, very transformative and passionate, but also a bit secretive, can be a bit destructive. It all depends on how you're handling things, how you're coping with things. It's a very deep emotional energy as well, okay? And I'm hearing the word rising to the surface. So there might be something going on that is rising to the surface, and that could be what you're going back over. So let's get an angel card and see what else we have coming in. 4 of Pentacles. So this card talks about control, but it also talks about fixations. Some of you might have a fixation on something that you kind of need to revise or relook at to see, does this still make me feel good? Does this still apply to my life? Is this still good for me, right? Sometimes we develop these habitual patterns or habits and behaviors that serve a purpose, but then the purpose kind of dwindles over time, but yet we hold on to it, or we hold on to that habit out of habit, you know, because we're habitual beings. So there might be some revision needed also around possibly like your daily habits, your eating habits, old ways of thinking, that type of thing. So let's look at then what is going on in the thought space for you, Cancer, and then we'll go into the emotional space. I don't know why I keep getting this song. I have no idea. He says 10-10-20-20. I'm a mother star. I'm a mother star. I'm a star. I don't know. Some of you are a star. Maybe that song resonates, or you're hearing that on your social media. I know it's all over TikTok, right? Maybe you're dealing with an Aquarius or have Aquarius placements in your chart. Take it or leave it. So you have here the 5 of Wands. Okay. This is the 7 of Swords. Interesting depiction of the 7 of Swords. I have never seen it depicted like this. Can you see that? She's in a meditative state, and they're showing the 7 of Swords above the person. So I love these cards because I like the images on them. They give a whole different meaning here. So let me get one more out and I'll tell you what I'm getting here. The Death card, more Scorpio energy. So Cancer, it's a sense of like don't cut yourself down and don't cut yourself short. You know what I'm saying? Or if someone else is cutting you down, you might need to relook at that relationship, relook at if that's still serving a purpose in your life, all right? And this could be somebody that's been a fixed figure in your life, maybe even family. But if somebody consistently makes you feel less than or makes you question your worth, I don't care what the type of relationship is, right? If it's not healthy, then it's not healthy. And I don't get into the habit of telling people to like cut people out of their life and detach, but sometimes it is necessary as a temporary means to gather ourselves. I think the ultimate idea is to get to a space in our own spiritual self, in our own alignment, where we can love other people without needing them to be different, without needing to detach in order to do that. But a lot of us, we're just not there yet as a society, as a collective. Very few people on this earth are able to stay in that type of alignment. And so we have a lot of conditional lovers on this planet, and that's okay because we're all growing and we're learning. But I'm just saying, if there's something here or someone here that makes you feel or cuts you down, it might be best to place some distance, okay? Ignore my dog in the background. I can't help it. My dogs have been extra noisy lately, which I've also noticed, and you probably have noticed in a lot of my readings. There's some sort of like erratic energy going on just in general. You know, even the animals of the planet are feeling and acting like weird and erratic. You might notice this in your own pets and your own animals. They seem louder or more present than usual. Yeah, I don't know what that is about, but I have definitely noticed that in all of the readings and in my own life. So if it's not other people, right, then the message is to stop cutting yourself short. Now, some of you, it's like, I don't want to say that you're lying to yourself, okay? But some of you are creating some sort of false narrative here in your brain about how things are going to work out, all right? And the universe has other plans. I'm not saying you're not going to get what you want, but be careful about playing the devil's advocate, all right? Do you know what I mean by that? Some of you are playing scenarios in your head, right? Going back to things. But it's every time you go back to a past memory or you revisit something, less and less of the truth is there. And now, see, I listened to a Joe Dispenza video the other day that I thought was really enlightening. And one of the things he says, and if you're not familiar with him, he's a great spiritual teacher in my mind. But one of the things that he says is that 50% of memories are fictitious, are made up by the mind. Because our mind, when it goes to retrieve it, it puts the current you bias upon the memory. Sometimes memories are also changed by other people who were there and their perception of what happened. Have you ever heard like two people tell the same story, but the stories are vastly different? It's not that maybe they're telling lies. It's just that they had two very different perspectives of that moment. And so memory retrieval is tricky in that there's a lot of elusiveness around it. Now, some of you are like recalling things, but the way that you're recalling it isn't quite like it actually happened, right? Or there's some sort of like illusion around that, okay? It could be that you're connecting with other people too that are like, yeah, remember that? And then they tell you the story and you remember that, but not how they remembered it. You know, so like we all have our own narratives. We all have our own version of life in our psyches. And I don't know why that's coming up, but there's something here about being careful about claiming to know the truth of something, but when you recall it, not actually recalling it how it not, like every detail isn't being recalled correctly. I feel like there's more information coming in on that, but just give me a second. I'm going to pull another card in the meantime. Some of you might also have ignored some red flags here with the Seven of Swords, all right? And because of that, you kind of put yourself maybe in a situation where you had to cut your losses, or you ended up feeling less than because of that. So there's this, like, kind of seeing what you want to see as opposed to what is actually occurring, and a caution around that as well. And if this isn't your energy, Cancer, it could be dealing with someone that you're dealing with that is creating like these false illusions or false stories or false narratives in order to cut you down or other people down. And it's like, always be careful, right, about when someone is telling you a story about how they were mistreated, because there's always two sides to every story, right? So a lot of times when people retell a story, especially if they felt like the victim in it, they will embellish, okay, parts of the story to make the other person seem even more unreasonable or more cruel. And we all kind of do this to some degree, and I don't feel like it's always intentional. It's just how our ego sees things. Our ego always wants to make us right and others wrong. And as you ascend out of your ego, you start to realize that usually both had some wrongness and both had some rightness. And it's more so a neutral issue than anything. But some of you might still be stuck in the ego somewhat, where you view self as right and others as wrong. If you are in that space right now, Cancer, I feel that there's a growth coming in around that, and some change coming in around that part of the egoic mind that's going to allow you to mature in a way that kind of releases you from the wrongness of things and the rightness of things, which actually is a blessing. Because personally, when I went through my own spiritual awakening, if you want to call it that, once I gave up the need to be right, I felt so much tension be released from my body. When I stopped needing to explain myself to other people, when I stopped needing to have a say-so, and just let it be, you know, it's like this peacefulness kind of flooding into my being. And it really did change my life in a lot of ways, because I stopped pushing against other people and playing into that rat race of the egoic mind. So some of you are also going through your own awakening where you're coming to that realization, right? And placing the focus instead on the things that make you feel good, and just worrying about yourself, going maybe through some spiritual changes, and getting your priorities straight, especially when it comes to like your daily habits, your practical life. They're showing me food and money in this depiction, so giving more attention to maybe diet and finances, the things that make you feel more secure, the things that you actually have control over, right? Some of you are giving too much energy or thought space to other people's perspectives and or their idea of you, but their idea of you is just that, an idea, you know. People never really know you. They know their version of you. That is through their own perception. And there's a different version of you that exists in every person's mind, right? So who's the true you? Only you know that, right? You are the only person that will ever know the true you. You and your higher self, of course. And so lots of downloads coming in, lots of very awakening type of energy, right? So let's go into the emotional space. So you have the Four of Cups, the Nine of Swords. This is really interesting because, see, this depiction, this person is at therapy. Some of you might be in therapy or could benefit from that. And they are facing their fears. So some of you might be going through, again, some emotional, they gave me the word turmoil. I guess that could be possible. Some of you might be feeling some emotional turmoil. What I was going to say was just this phase of your life where you're needing to kind of face some of the things that you fear so that you can see it's just not that scary, right? Some of you have fear of abandonment, fear of being alone, fear of, of being deceived. Some of you are afraid of not seeing the truth. And it's like, anytime you're focused on what you don't want, you're going to feel negative emotion. And the reason you're feeling negative emotion, Cancer, is because your emotions are your guidance system, and that's Spirit's way of saying, give focus to something else. Give focus to the things that make you feel secure, that give you a sense of control. Stop fearing the worst, okay? Some of you are just really like dreading some sort of change here and keeping yourself in this emotional space that is not benefiting you, and maybe it gives you a false sense of control. You know, but it is a false sense of control. And it's like the universe isn't asking you to give up a sense of control. It's asking you to be okay, to know that you're going to be okay even when change does occur. That you can still control the way that you feel. That you're always in control of the way that you feel and the way that you think about things, okay? So give me one more. So you got some pretty intense cards here. Four of Cups, Nine of Swords, Five of Pentacles, and the Tower. Okay, can I get one more? Two more. Justice and the Hangman. So there's a sense here, Cancer, of feeling like maybe that they give me the word complacency. But it also could be, it's just like, you know, when it's like not really looking forward to anything. You might have these moments in time where you're just like, I don't really care. I don't really want to go. I don't really want to get out of bed. I just don't care. You know, it's just, it's like, it's not that you're maybe super depressed, but it's not that you're super happy either. It's like this in-between state. Okay, that some of you may have found yourself in. And it's coming from, especially if you're feeling depleted or like this boredom or lack of inspiration, it's coming from like overstimulating your mind, overthinking things, and then your thoughts getting so erratic that it drains your physical energy. And it's coming from kind of this fear-based energy that, you know, things might not be okay, or I don't want some sort of change to come in, or what if this changes and what if this happens? And it's like, you, Cancer, you're being really encouraged to relinquish those thoughts and to kind of go with the flow more and to assume the best, okay? Sometimes the mind does play tricks on us, right? And it'll have us thinking the worst when things are actually working out for the best. And I could tell you, you know, things are always working out for you. Even when it seems like disastrous, even when it seems out of your control, it's always, if you give it enough time, you can always look back on those events and see how it changed something in your life that needed a change, or that how you grew emotionally from that. It's always for your benefit, right? So there is going to be justice brought to whatever this is, and you will be getting some new sort of perspective. I keep getting the word fighting, or fighting chance. Some of you, if you've had a lot of conflict in your life, you're tired of the fighting. Or if you've had some sort of erratic changes or upheavals, it's like you're ready. you're ready for more balance, for more peace in your life. And like willing to even fight for that. But true peace doesn't come through fighting. Okay? It comes through allowance. I don't know if you're fighting yourself internally. It's like, I know this needs to change, but I also don't want this to change. Or if you're actually in opposition to another person. Like somebody's wanting something that you do not want. And not being able to find like a common balance or commonality, common ground. All right, that could also be what's going on. But it's like, if that is the case, either way, Source is wanting you to see this from a higher perspective, that another person doesn't have to lose for you to win, right? And someone doesn't have to be wrong for you to be right. To get your mind out of the duality, the idea of that needing to be the case, right? It's like there is some sort of solution here, or there is a way where everybody gets what they want. And it doesn't have to be as difficult as you're imagining it to be. Sometimes our mind tries to imagine how things are going to work out for everyone, but we don't have the higher perspective that our soul has. And that creates a lot of blockages when we do that. So the guidance is to, it's not your job to necessarily figure out how that person's going to get what they want, and that person and you, especially if you have different ideas of what you want versus what others want. It's your job to get in alignment with finding the love, finding the joy for yourself, and kind of giving it up to Source, not overthinking it, not trying to strategize it in your head, but rather let the solution flow in, because the universe has this way of orchestrating things way beyond what we even could fathom as to how things would work out. And it's when we try to play the role of God, of Source, that we kind of screw things up a little bit. And so like when the Buddha says, right, or any of the spiritual teachers say, it's all about sitting in allowance. And allowance means being present in the present moment, knowing things are working out for you, not stressing and worrying over it, finding faith and happiness right now. That's how you get what you want. And it does require you to relinquish the egoic control of the mind. Some of you might benefit from some meditation, okay, from a release, from maybe even a releasing ceremony, cord cutting ceremony for some of you, if this is related to a specific person. Surrender, that's the word I wanted to say. It's like once we surrender our need for us to completely know what's going to happen, or for things to work out a certain way, it's like, boom, the solution comes. It works out. It's not until that point, though. So let's see what is the big spiritual picture then, Cancer. 3 of Cups. Eight of Wands. Page of Pentacles. Oops. And the 2 of Wands. So that's what I'm talking about. See, this person, look at this depiction. She's releasing. This reminds me of a meme where the woman is like this, and there's this black smoke coming off of her, and the caption says, I release all that is no longer serving me. And I feel like that's applicable to you right now, Cancer, that just giving it up. Giving up the mental battle. Not giving up on what you want. I'm not saying that. I'm saying giving up the worry around it, giving up stressing over it, giving up your happiness over it. That's what they're saying, to give up, because there is support here, okay? And there is like this potential growth opportunity as well coming in, and this vast, like, this is how your source sees it. This infinite possibilities. But from your perspective, you're only able to see maybe a few, okay? But Source is seeing infinite pathways to getting what it is that you want. And so this is going to require a little bit of trust and for you to give up some sort of control here. And I feel like emotionally right now, and they're giving me the song Ready or Not, here it comes. There might be that disruption in your emotional space anyways. It's like there is some sort of, I don't want to say destined change, but there is something here that's been building up in the energy and building up in the energy. And now is the time where you may be revisiting that, or to go back to what I said at the very beginning of the reading, it's like coming back around to something. But this time you're different. The perspective will be different, the lesson different, and the way that this is going to work out for you is to kind of go into surrender. So let's see what the guidance is, Cancer, and then we will leave it there. This is like one of the most intense readings I've done so far. So I hope this is resonating with those of you it's meant for. It says self-sabotage. Okay, that makes sense. When you learn to get out of your own way, there'll be no stopping you. Most of the time, it's not others who prevent you from achieving your goals. It's that inner voice that derails those carefully woven plans. That's what I was talking about, is sometimes the egoic mind plays tricks on us. That card exactly right there basically summed it up. So let's get a law of attraction card here for you. A law of attraction card for you. It says, I came as an extension of source energy. All right, so this says, you came as a physical extension of source energy, understanding that you would explore contrast, causing expansion, not only for you, but for all that is. You knew that you could find your way back to the resources of Source by feeling your way and by understanding that the relationship between you and you is not one of separateness, but of alignment and resonance. When you master the art of allowing your consistent alignment with the Source within you, every other relationship will benefit. Wow. So this is talking about using your emotional guidance system, Cancer, but also to master the art of allowing, which is also known as the art of surrender. All right, so deep reading. Please do let me know how this resonated with you. Zodiac signs you could be dealing with or have in your own birth chart that are showing up. I have the fixed elements, particularly Scorpio, but Leo, Taurus, Aquarius. Scorpio again, Capricorn. Those are the primary signs I'm seeing. I'm sorry, Libra as well. Sorry. But keep in mind, it's a general reading. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it did resonate, please do let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to give me a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well for more fun stuff, as I have videos and other content over there. All of it linked in the description box below, as well as in the About section of my YouTube, where you can find the donation link. If you'd like to donate, you can do so there. Otherwise, I'm wishing you the very, very best. And until next time, my friends, namaste. Bye.